Third time this week. Oh, sorry.
What happened?
Oh man,
What did I miss?
that was yeah. That,
That
was the
was
best decision Quan's made ever.
That was great, actually.
That was great.
Welcome back to another edition of Into the West Comics. Run it back.
Yes.
This week, we're staying in our Spielberg vibes, right, Sonny?
Vibes, yeah, we're vibing. Just vibing.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, an iconic film character.
I'm playing the theme music in the back right now. I'm gonna press.
Where's that
I'm gonna
coming
press.
I thought that was in my head.
I've got a question for Sonny straight off the bat.
Sonny is here. Marcus is here. Let's get right into it. Paul is here. The hot dog. Austin is here. Shane, you heard Shane at the beginning.
He was humming the.
He was the
DJ.
voice at the beginning.
Did you watch it, Sonny?
Yes, I've seen this movie.
Get into that? It's like interrogation.
You
He does
have
not believe you.
Did you not see the text message? Everybody watch it. So I watched it.
I had proof.
It was good. There was boulders. There's
Oh my gosh! Oh my
I
gosh.
saw the
there's why is it got to be snakes?
Okay,
You know,
alright.
there.
Snakes.
Come on, why is it got to be the snakes?
There were
Oh my
boulders.
gosh.
There was ninjas.
Listen. Okay.
You
Go
set
ahead.
yourself up for this.
Go ahead.
already.
No, I
You
did.
can't
I
be
did.
mad at
I get that. I
anybody.
get that. But if this movie, I did. I watched the trailer and I read the Wikipedia.
The Wikipedia.
Now we're getting somewhere.
No, for real though, I do appreciate what these movies have done because like movies like The Mummy wouldn't be able to like be a thing without
Yeah.
this.
Huge influence on
You know what I'm
them.
saying?
Yeah,
sure.
So it was great. I think it was cool.
Hey Shane, you're over there
Making noise.
making
Yeah.
noises.
Raiders March.
What was your thoughts about Raiders of the Lost Ark?
It was like, here's the thing about Raiders of the Lost Ark compared to the other Indiana Jones movies.
The other two that matter. Yeah.
Yeah, the other two that
like
the other
the
two
new
that
one.
truly mattered. Like it was so serious. Like it took itself like really seriously, and yet it didn't at times. I just thought
Right.
that especially at the beginning, like that beginning sequence, as Paul texted us in the text chat that we all got, he's just like, man, one of the best in the history of cinema, and I agree with that as far as action movies are concerned. It was just like so.
It's pretty great.
It's real. Like it was so real to watching it. The first time you actually see Indy,
Yeah.
like he looks so dope. Like he's just like he looks so like
Serious.
for real,
Badass.
like serious,
Very serious.
and for real. Yeah, right, Marcus. Like he looked,
Yeah.
he looked
Very
amazing.
Very serious.
Harrison Ford when you first see him.
Right.
He's like, this dude is going to be insane. And then when you find out he's actually a professor,
Yeah. That
like
was,
is totally, and all the chicks are digging him in class. Like
Yeah.
it's really dope.
She got "Love You" written on her eyelids.
Eyelids, like,
Yeah, that
it's
was
dope.
great.
Like,
That was great.
And that
Sonny
just
does that
set up
with
the
me.
rest of the film for me to
Have one
where
right now.
I'm just
Just have
going,
it
this really can, there's so many ways you can go with it, and they really did go and expand that world so brilliantly. And at times, and other times it's terrible, but most times it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. You had a handsome, intelligent hero.
Yeah, which was fantastic. He's either dumb, and then somebody else was the professor,
Right.
You know what I mean? It was that kind of thing, or like
Durr.
you didn't really see that all that much at that point.
Right.
I'll do that.
Milkshake, what'd you think about Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah, it's one of the most classic movies in America history. I think everyone knows that movie. If you think about Indiana Jones, you think of the first one with the boulder coming down at the beginning. It's really like Sonny knows the iconic scene at the beginning. But yeah, it's just great. It's just a really good.
I like what you did there, Austin.
He said boulders, plural.
Boulders, yes,
And that's a little
true.
weird.
But yeah, it's just a really. It's
It
a
is
really
only
good.
one.
I think it's just a good movie.
Boulder shout out.
Harrison Ford's really good. I'm trying to push through it, but
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's okay.
You're doing good, man. You're doing
good.
real
I'm
good.
It's me every week, buddy.
But yeah, the relationship between him and Marion
that was
is really good in this movie. I feel like there's not really a slow moment in this movie as well.
No.
When it's slow, but it's like it's supposed to happen in that way. And then the whole scene in the tomb is really cool with him and Sala, with him and the snakes. It's kind of just funny. He's like a really like cool, like what you said at the beginning. He's like a tough guy. Then he's like scared of snakes, and it's just kind of funny.
That's kind of fair,
That's the
though.
only thing he's afraid of is snakes. And then the end scene, which is like terrifying when I was a child, when they open the ark and they're all like,
So cool.
their eyes are like getting like taken out.
They're melting.
Yes.
The melting face.
But yeah, it's just a really, really good movie. I enjoy it.
Nice.
That's it.
Very good.
Brother. That's
That's
it.
it.
Yes. So this
Milkshake
is-
is like, that's it.
That's it. I'm done.
Done.
And that's
That's it.
that.
Next.
Next.
So yeah, I mean,
Oh gosh.
I pretty much echo all of the sentiments of praise with this movie. It's a great classic movie. You have the handsome, intelligent hero back when men could be men, and that was the thing. And so you have
Really
that-
banging on the handsome.
yeah.
Right.
We're not men trying to be women.
Handsome
So
man.
it's a very good hero movie. And not only that, but just like it reminded me of what made movies fun. Like, because like as a kid, like when I was watching the Indiana Jones movies, we all as kids, when we were watching these movies and they were coming out in the 80s and whatnot, we watched them from a position of wonder.
Yeah, that's great.
Today we watch them from this whole prism of information age, because we all know how they do everything now. So it kind of takes away from
We're film experts.
we're film experts.
Sure.
Everyone's a film expert, and so that kind of takes away from the sense of magic
Yeah.
that these movies have.
Wow, yeah.
And I think that that's something that the information age has come at a cost of our imagination, because as a kid you're watching this, you're like, whoa, that is so cool how he did that, and he did the somersault, or oh man, yeah, Michael Keaton as Batman, he flew down from the building. We weren't concerned about, oh yeah, they used a crane and they did this and then
Yeah.
they put a little
Or look at the
CG here.
CG, it looks
That's
like
right.
crap.
That's a-
all of it
yeah,
looks-
that's a
no,
good
we
point.
didn't think about that. We were
really
just like, wow, how did Michael Keaton do that? He is awesome. He as Batman is awesome. Or Indiana Jones is awesome. Wow, he used the whip and he knocked the sword, or he knocked the cane out of the dude's hand, the burning stick from that doctor, that evil torturer doctor Nazi guy. All that stuff was just great.
That's his name in the movie, actually.
Evil Doctor Torture.
Evil tortured Nazi.
Evil Doctor Torture.
The evil Dr. Torture Nazi.
Line.
And then
Like, they don't. Do they really say his name?
No, they
No,
don't.
no.
No, they don't.
His the character's name is I think his last name is Tote.
Yes.
okay.
Oh, Toad.
And so
Totally lame.
So I mean, so
Yeah.
right. So I mean, between like like this, I guess you could say like the slower parts where it's more expository and they're kind of like explaining the Ark of the Covenant and what that means, which is great because you don't have to be a practicing Christian to know what the Ark of the Covenant is, or a Jew, because they kind of do a good job of explaining what the Ark of the Covenant is.
But he
and what
calls
the
them out on it. He
significance.
says, "Didn't you guys go to Sunday school?"
Right, exactly, which is great. That's great humor. But at the same time, cinematically, you're able to, as a viewer, you can watch it and you can actually see what's going on, right? And understand what's happening. So you have that story kind of played out for you, and not not such a spoon feeding sort of way.
Yeah, I
either.
agree. It wasn't pedantic. Like, it didn't feel
Right.
like,
Good word.
done.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was like great storytelling, compelling. You got the action. The sound effects are iconic. The punch sound.
Yeah, I love that
And the
so
whip
much.
Gun
sound.
sound was
And the gun
crazy.
sound.
Yeah.
Those are all great, and it was great. And Marianne, she's pretty but not too distracting, like in Temple of Doom with the singer girl.
I think
She's like a Boulder
I think
City
she's prettier
7.
than the
Oh God! But yeah,
Did you say
so
you're
I
too
mean,
close
all
on the
around,
Boulder? She's a Boulder City 7.
Oh.
yeah, all around,
Really?
just a great movie.
She's fine.
I mean, lots of fun. It brought
Hey.
back,
Hey.
yeah, it brought back a lot of movies. It brought back a lot of memories of when I used to watch movies, and from that position of wonder, and it was fun. And that's something that I think is lacking in today's movies. Not
for
saying
sure.
not saying that the movies that are coming out today aren't good, but it's a different type of good, because we're looking
No,
at
that's
it.
fair.
Okay.
Everyone's more of an educated audience now in
I
terms
agree.
of how they do
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm like,
and
oh, the CG looks crap. I would have done so much better if I was like,
right. It's just like, no, just relax, enjoy it. It's something new. It's something innovative. They were pushing the envelope then still, and they can still push it even today.
But
But
push it real good.
yeah, exactly. But I
agree.
mean, but there's so much onus
real
on that
good.
now versus the practical effects, and that's also one of the things that I think we can get from it.
Agreed.
yeah, it was,
Hot dog, your feelings.
He felt it.
I love this movie. This is one of those movies I grew up with watching over and over again. The I hate you so much. But I adore this. I actually think
You adore it?
this is probably my second favorite indie movie. I like The Last Crusade more. I like the opening to this film more, but I like the rest of The Last Crusade more. I like all the Indiana Jones movies, even the one bad one, Crystal Skull. I know Austin hates the new one. I actually really liked it. But Raiders does such a good job, and it's very concise, and there's not a lot of fat on it. It's exactly what you need to see when you need to see it. And I think it's cool for me to watch these movies now because you guys know how much I love Lord of the Rings and I love Indiana
so
Jones,
much.
and I get to see Gimli run around as Sala, and that's super cool to watch. And
I'm just trying to ad lib all
and this
Push
movie,
through, Paul,
it
push
does,
through.
Oh,
it
push through,
honestly, and Alfred Molina, what's it called? Doc Ock is in the beginning of it. He
Yep.
tries to screw Indy over, and he gets it. But I think this movie does a good job of wonder, and it leaves you with some interesting questions, but that don't matter in a way that break the plot. Like, it's like, what if Indy did shoot the Ark with the RPG? What would have happened if he shot the Ark?
Right,
blew up.
right.
Like, well, would it have?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We didn't see it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I really Sonny's like
that sense of wonder, that adventure, it takes you places. You know?
and this
far away.
this movie and The Last Crusade have two of the coolest practical effects scenes for me when the guys are melting in this one, and when the guy rapidly ages in The Last Crusade. I really thoroughly enjoyed just all of these movies in India. I remember, and I think the reason I might like Crystal Skull more than some of you guys is when I was a kid,
saw it.
it was
it was decent.
yeah, I mean, it was. I had watched 3 Indiana Jones movies and never seen one come out. And when the trailer came out and he stepped into the light and it was just his shadow, I was like, "Oh my god, I am so excited for this!"
Right.
And then the movie is fine at best.
Yeah,
and the new one, I really enjoyed it. It felt like if it came out in the 80s, I think people would have a different opinion on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they all rhyme really well with each other for the most part, and I really
I think this is Spielberg's. I think this is kind of like Spielberg's answer to. I mean, it's obviously like based like a kind of like an old serial series from like the 40s or whatever, but it's kind of Spielberg's response to James Bond films.
Well,
I mean, it's like a modern take on or a different take on James Bond.
he wanted to make a James Bond movie and they wouldn't let him, so
Right.
Lucas wrote Indiana Jones.
And they did their own.
Wow.
Their own
Okay.
deal. I think all the practical effects that you have. I mean, I remember hearing about when they were making the movie that Harrison Ford has like an upset stomach, he like food poisoning or diarrhea or
Yeah.
something like that. So they have the scene with the guy, the big sword, like the showdown, and he's swinging the big sword around, and he says, "I'm just going to shoot him and see the response," kind of thing. There was supposed to be a drawn out fight.
Yeah,
Between
to
the
use
two
his
of them
whip.
with the whip and everything else, and he just like, all right, for the crowd separates, and he's there with the sword, and he just and it turns around. It's like I love that.
Yeah.
With the truck when they're trying to chase down the truck that has the Ark actually in it. Spoiler if you haven't seen it.
cool.
The truck has the Ark in it, and then he's like underneath the truck is being drug around the dirt and everything else. There's they really leaned into. Spielberg does a great job of this, is creating the practical effects, pulling them off, and that everybody has tried to recreate a lot of those things. Him and Lucas, they've tried to recreate a lot of those things,
For sure.
and they don't work exactly the same way. And it's like a master class before master class ever existed on those practical effects, and that is one of the big parts of the movies. In addition to Harrison Ford being so good as this character.
oh, he's wonderful.
Indiana Jones is a great, iconic, all-time character.
Right.
But yeah, I love the movie. I mean, it's not like I told you guys, I watch Jaws on the 4th of July every year. I don't watch Raiders of the Lost Ark every year, but I've watched it in the past. I watched it for this a couple days ago, and I think I probably watched it like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I pulled out the DVD because back in 2003 they did a box set and they released
very cool.
Yeah, they released all the first 3 movies plus an additional bonus materials movie, and then I ended up buying like Crystal Skull like later when it came out, and I just pulled that out and watched it a couple days ago, and the magic is still there in that movie.
Yeah.
That made me feel good. That made me feel good. I was like, okay, cool. This is not as, it's not really
That thing still thanging.
Yeah. I don't want to say it's dated, but it's not. It doesn't feel dated. It feels like it's still timeless. It has that magic, you know.
The magic's still there.
Yeah, the thing.
The magic when men were men.
Yes, that
Right.
Yeah.
All right,
Don't
Sonny,
get 'em
tell us
started.
one specific scene other than the boulder.
There was a really epic showdown where Indy was supposed to use his whip, and he just shot the dude just to make, cause his stomach was hurting, and
Fair enough. Hey, you know,
Wait a
he
minute.
was
I should have phrased my question differently.
Hold on here.
Sonny, you gonna get rankings
Sonny
for
did
everybody
not
for
watch
where we got the movie? I know you give it a 10 because you
10 out of
loved
10.
it.
Amazing, groundbreaking, Academy Award winning movie. What do you guys think though?
I'm
1 out of
9
10.
out of 10. I'm 9 out of 10.
9.
I'm a 9.5 out of 10 because Last Crusade is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Oh wow.
What about
Yeah, I'd probably go 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
you? Okay. What
I
about
really
you
like
guys?
that movie.
Because then I have to ask another question. What about you guys?
9.5 for me.
Okay, fair. Okay, what about
I
you?
want to go with
Say 9. Go ahead. I know you want to.
I dare you. I double dare you.
Give it 2 for 2 boulders.
plural boulders. I give it an 8.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
Fair.
You know why? Because what's the chick's name?
Marion.
Because Marion kind of got on my nerves just a little bit. I think she's supposed to get on your nerves with
Yeah.
the voice and everything.
She did.
But she started out like super like tough with her
goddamn
bar and all that. Then she
Yeah.
just became total damsel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it
I like that.
shocking.
You guys gave the last one very high score with Jaws. Are you going so high for nostalgic purposes and like what it did for cinema and all that, or is just like these are like amazing movies?
They're amazing movies.
All right, I didn't.
Yeah.
do the-
They're
I think it's a
Yeah, a lot
factor
of
for
them.
sure.
I-
For
I-
me, it was a big
I-
fun factor in
You're
it.
right. I didn't finish this one.
They're all on Disney Plus if you want to watch.
Yeah, they're on Disney Plus.
There's,
Yeah.
I think that there's a, it was a period of time where Lucas and Spielberg both make like really good films.
Right.
Lucas in particular was just like this series of films, but him collaborating with Spielberg, they're both at like the peak of their powers
Right.
in these films. A lot of people are kind of hot and cold on Temple of Doom.
I like
That's just
Temple of
something that
Doom.
we're going to be talking
Mhm.
about coming
Money
up
Mama.
soon. But I mean,
I think you'd like Temple of Doom more.
Temple of Doom, it was a lot of fun.
So yeah, spoilers. That's
those-
my favorite actually. Temple of Doom is actually my favorite.
What did that
Those
spoil?
movies are fun.
You said
And-
spoiler alert, and you're like, that one's my favorite. And I'm
Well,
like,
you know
where-
what
where are
my
you gonna
yardstick
spoil it?
is for because I used to
What's the
watch
end?
the '98 Godzilla all the time when I was a kid, and
With Matthew Broderick?
and I loved it when I was a kid. Yeah, and I adored it. And when I rewatched it as like a fully formed brain individual, terrible. The movie is horrendous. It's
brain.
terrible. But when I rewatched Jaws and Raiders of the Lost Ark, they're incredible. I love every
That's fair.
second of them.
I had a flashback to when I saw Godzilla in the theaters with him and T.O.D. with Todd. He had an empty soda bottle that was glass for whatever reason
What?
back then. They had a glass soda bottle. And he put it on the ground like he thought it was just going to roll and make no noise. And you heard it hit every chair. Ding, 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 ding. It's like this big, like, really quiet scene in the film. And you hear a bottle, and you hear some random lady like, there go that bottle again. It was just like, it was great. I remember that. And we teased Todd about that for a while. Shout out to
Fair.
Todd.
Fair.
To T.O. Double.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
But yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark is a great film.
Great
Um,
movie.
We're
I
going to be
have no
talking
complaints.
about, in the coming weeks, we'll talk about these other Indiana Jones movies. I don't know if we're going to do Crystal Skull or
I mean, we don't have to.
Dial
you
of Destinies.
Ugh.
Dang, Austin.
I think it's funny how much Austin
But
hated
Temple
it.
of Doom next week for sure. And then
Okay.
Last Crusade, I think. We'll
Sure.
we'll get into that stuff.
All right.
But yeah,
watch
man. It's a great movie. I mean, I hope the homework wasn't that tough. I mean,
No,
for
it
you to
wasn't
watch
at
it
all.
with this
No, it was
stuff for Sunny. But everybody else, it wasn't that tough to get you to watch it. But Temple of Doom's a fun movie. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
I turned it off and I put on The Mummy.
What?
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. All right.
I like the Mummy.
The first,
right.
I love The Mummy.
The Mummy
Returns.
doesn't exist without Indiana
And that's
Jones.
what I'll give it. It's like credit for. You know what I'm saying?
Exclusivos over there. What's you've got final thoughts on Indiana Jones?
I think it's just a brilliantly done film for what he had to work with at the time, Spielberg. Like, you know, like when it came to the practical effects and when it came to the actual real effects of it, like it looks pretty good for the movie. Came out when? What was the year?
I think 1981 or something like that.
Like that is some serious stuff for 1981. And you can just see the future movies and what it could actually, what could be possible with the stories that were being worked with at the time.
Yeah. And it's just a really good multi-generational movie that everyone, their whole family can watch it. And it's like, it's never just for like one generation. It's just for everyone to watch. So yeah, it's a really great movie.
No, for sure. It appeals to all kinds of different.
Agreed. And next week we'll listen to Sonny talk about how great Sucker Punch is.
Nice. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we appreciate you taking the
that.
time to hang out with us tonight. And we'll be getting into more Spielberg movies next time. We'll be talking about Indiana Jones.
Maybe Sonny will watch it.
And the Temple of Doom. Chilled monkey brains, baby.
Oh, yeah.
And eating the giant beetles and the
beetles,
the bugs.
Boulders, whips.
There'll be boulders and whips.
Doing a fade, Mortal
Anything
Kombat
goes
style
next
fatality
week.
with the
We'll be
snatching
talking
Temple
about
of Doom
that.
takes place before Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that
Yeah.
timeline.
It's a different multiverse. It's a different
Right.
timeline.
It's right after Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Guys, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great evening.
The golden
Turns
age
into
of
the Red
80s
Hulk,
movies.
actually.
It's turtle time. We turn to the red hole.
Pizza time.
You put the quarters in the machine. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time.
Oh, that in the game? Yeah, I remember that.